Hello, it's John Hampton. You're in conservative company. Today I'll be talking with Brian Chickering. Brian is the director of the Tea Party of Tehachapi. We'll be talking about some political subjects, so I hope you enjoy the video. As I said earlier, today I'll be talking with Brian Chickering. He's here with me now. Brian, I appreciate you coming over. Thank you for spending some time here.
Pleasure to be here.
Now, you organized the Tea Party of Tehachapi, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and what was it that made you want to do that?
Well, a couple of things. Most people refer to 9/11, 01, and that really opened up my eyes to international events. And then the original Tea Party movement, and I think it kind of started in 08, but I did go to a couple of Tea Party meetings in Bakersfield, and I wanted to be involved with it, and then I took a long time to gather information. It was basically for my own benefit, although I didn't know where it was going with it. And then about November of 09, I realized there was not a Tea Party up here in Tehachapi, because I wanted to join one. And then it didn't take me too long to figure out there wasn't one here. So in December of 09, I started to gather information and a format of a meeting rather than me. And then in February was my first meeting. And it was out in Stallion Springs.
Okay. Yeah. And has your membership been increasing since that time?
Oh yeah.
Has it?
Yeah. The started off with humble beginnings. All I had was a little homemade 24-inch by 24-inch sign out in Stallion Springs, and I just said Tea Party of Stallion Springs with my phone number, and I knew I was on the right track, because 3 days later that sign was taken away from the road and over the barbed wire fence.
Okay.
Somebody had taken the sign and threw it over, but they didn't throw it over far enough. I was able to go back with a pole and retrieve it. So anyway, so that's how it started. The first meeting, we had 50 people there. Only about 3 or 4 people called on the phone, but over 50 showed up. The second meeting I had the following month, about a dozen to 15 people called, and I had over 90 people there.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. And the capacity at the old library in Stallion Springs was 125. And so I knew right then and there I needed to have a different facility that could hold more people.
Okay.
And so we moved to Dave's Auto.
And are you getting more young people now attending your meetings?
Well, to be honest, not as much as I'd like. We have several that are in the 30-year range, somewhere in that area. And we have had young couples with babies and young children. We've had children there roughly the age of 9 or 10, and a few teenagers and some 20s and 30s. But not as much as I'd like, because that's the new generation coming up, and that was one of the factors that we needed to pass this information on to the younger generation. So I think a lot of them are actually engaged, maybe independently, but everybody needs to have bigger numbers, so right. I wasn't really disappointed with that. I kind of expected it.
And for someone who's never been to a Tea Party meeting before, Brian, why should they go? What would they hope to get out of it?
The thing about the meetings that I wanted to conduct is first of all, I didn't have a lot of money to invest into the whole program. So I knew right away that that was going to happen. And so I focused on the quality of the meetings. Okay, I wanted to be well informed on many issues and lots of topics, and I wanted to devote a lot of my time into this so that I could outline my program and spend quite a bit of time at it, so that the quality of the meeting was good. If I did that, then I would have people coming back quite a bit, and they would be informed on stuff that many issues that they would only have little tidbits of information or obviously with the media, the mainstream media, a lot of that was filtered, a lot of that was biased, mm-hmm. and you really don't get the full picture unless you you have to get away from that, and you really have to get into the internet. You really have to get into some websites, because a lot of times the text is longer, maybe some of the videos longer, but you can obviously you can print the article or whatever and really read it from over and over again and ponder on what's the content is, and then you can decide for yourself whether this is true. And then if you do that a step further, if you had several websites that on one issue and they pretty much all said the same thing, you had a pretty good sense of it was true. And so that's what I wanted to bring to the meetings, and hopefully I achieved that.
Now let me ask you some questions about Mitt Romney. What did you think of his performance at the Republican convention?
In my opinion, it was kind of a mixed bag, for a couple of positive reasons. He was able to have a setting so that people were tuned in. They could see basically an outline of his plan for America that was unfiltered by, as I said before, the mainstream media, because obviously they'll just take sound bites, a little here, a little there, and take things out of contents. So he was able to say things in a complete sentence, in a complete paragraph, and of course it was scripted, but he was able to outline his plan for America, and I think that he did a very good job. I think Ryan did a better job, to be honest with you, but Romney's not a career politician. I mean, he was only governor for Massachusetts, and I think it was just one term. I could be wrong on that, but he's never been any other. He was never in politics besides that, so I think that's a big plus. So I think he did. He had an opportunity to possibly change some individuals' thinking, although I thought he was a little reserved. He's starting to kind of come out of that a little bit. You have to understand, he's a very humble man. He doesn't really like to talk about some of his achievements so much. He's more into the act of service and not taking credit for it. Okay, which is a very, very, in my opinion, a quality that's to be admired.
What would be the three most convincing points that you would make in favor of Mitt Romney for president to those people that are still undecided as who they want to vote for?
He's obviously a very successful businessman. He went to Harvard. He has a master's degree in business administration, and he went to law school. My understanding, he never practiced a day as a lawyer. He really has the desire to turn this country around, and you can see it in his eyes. You can see it in what he says. You can see it with the people that he has selected so far, and more importantly, he has the ability to understand in a common sense way to solve problems. And if you go to his website, there's at least 22 different issues that he explains on his websites. Now, some people say he doesn't have a plan, but all you have to do is go to his website, mittromney.com, and you will see that he has a well thought out outline of what we need to do to save this country.